Good evening and welcome back. We're back again, ladies and gentlemen, racing fans alike. Welcome to Silverstone for round 3 of the iFormula 3 season, presented by Team Goon Squad and myself, Vinny Fitzsimmons, on 1080p, 60 frames a second. Enough about me. Here's the circuit. 21 laps a day around this 3.6 mile circuit. 18 corners, 8 to the left and 10 to the right, of speeds upwards of 150 miles an hour along the Hanger Straight and the Wellington Straight before Stowe Corner. We welcome you from the booth today for a brilliant Sunday of racing action all the way to the checkered flag with a 21 lap sprint race. 21 lap feature race with a the 12 place reverse grid here today for the sprint race for a 5 lap sprint all the way to the finish. 5 laps is not a lot around this Silverstone circuit with these high speeds and the high drafts. It's quite, I wouldn't say difficult, but draft trains can be created and it can be a little bit more difficult to pick out those faults and drag yourself along to get yourself back up to those positions with the reverse grid. However, we're waiting for qualifying to begin here as drivers are making their way out for the beginning of their qualifying runs. We saw a couple quick drivers in practice. Some of the likes of Cody Graham is beating Alex Johnson in practice. Alex Johnson has had a pretty much almost a win or a lossless even streak at the moment. He's won so many races and he's just really kind of showing everyone how it's done. However, it looks like here at Silverstone he may have some competition, which should be absolutely brilliant to see as drivers are making their way around on their preparation laps, as some of them are beginning their first qualifying laps as we speak now towards Vale. On board with Marion Barber as he comes round Club Corner to begin his first qualifying lap here today. So missing the apex slightly in turn 2 there towards the loop now. It's very, very hard to get that apex and get on the exit as the rears tend to light up a little bit. Now, down the Wellington Straight. Looks like he may have a little bit of a draft of the cars in front of him. Now towards Brooklands Corner, we've seen a lot of the drivers struggle with the rear tyres here, breaking at the 50-metre board, hugging it to the inside, clipping the curb, but not diving too deep into Luffield now. Don't break away from the apex, keep in the camber of the corner as you mash the power on the exit. Coming out of Woodcote now towards Cops Corner. It's very, very difficult to keep in the track limits here, especially on the cold tyres. The cars tend to understeer out wide over that white line, giving that all coveted 1X. It looks like he misses the apex and goes over the white line. So that will be an invalidation from Marion Barber. However, it is his first time lap. These tyres do take a while to heat up, as we know. Maybe 2 to 3 laps before we start seeing some good lap times. So these laps don't count really as much. However, it would be nice to get a banker lap in case they do not get their lap times done at the end of the qualifying session. Now down the Hanger Straight. Will he try and go hard again, or will he try and cool down the tyres, not overheat them, and prepare for the second lap? Into Stowe Corner, breaking at the curb on the left. Keeping it in, tapping the white line on the inside, but keeping up their minimum speed for the exit. Towards Vale now, the final corner. Breaking the curb, clipping the curbs on the inside, on the left and the right. Towards Club now, you've got to clip this apex nicely. Now towards his second time lap. James Moller sets the provisional fastest time of a 151.7. He's first in the queue. Jake Potts also set a time of 52.2. Everyone else invalidated their first lap time. James Moller nailing that exit on the loop now. Going down towards the Wellington Straight, towards turn 6. No DRS in these Formula 3 cars, so you have to keep the momentum up. Coming out of the slow corners onto the straight, it's imperative to get a good exit. As he gets a purple sector 2, as it looks like he got beaten by somebody else. Jake Potts, 5/10 of a second down. Here comes Moller towards Cop Corner. Want an early turning, get that curb on the inside. Don't turn that wheel too much, just got off too much speed there. Moller getting a pretty good turn now towards Magnussen Beckett's. The most thrilling section of the racetrack with a right, then a left, then another right, and then the left of Chapel towards the hangar straight, towards Stowe Corner now. It's very easy to go and breach the track limits on the exit of Chapel there. He keeps it nice and tidy towards Stowe Corner now, the final sector of the racetrack to go. Miss the apex, a little bit of Stowe, lose a little bit of minimum speed. You can see there was more speed to be carried on the exit. Braking for the Vale chicane. Goes a little bit deep on the first one, so his exit out of the second corner will be a little bit compromised towards the final corner. What will the time be? So 1:51.1 to beat, as it looks like Alex Johnson sets a 1:50.9. Playing the timer screens alight with purple sectors all around. James Mollair can't match it. 2/10 up is Johnson. The All has a quicker time. He goes 7th fastest here today. Mollair did go wide on the final corners. It looks like he's choosing to reset. Johnson's going for another lap. Going to ride back on board with him today. The Swedishman, the 196. He heads towards Copse Corner. Will he take risk? Or will he try and force the car in? Or will he get a nice apex and a beautiful exit? We know he's capable of it. Will he get it this time? It's a beautiful apex on the inside, using all the track on the outside line. That is how you take off. Through Mags and Beckett's, he's looking tidy. Using all the track again on the exit of the Chapel. As he pulls off to the left-hand side, he chooses to not continue with his lap. Which means Barbaru now is the first one in the queue. Will he improve this time? He's continuing with the lap. You presume so. He gets a nice apex on the middle of the Stowe there, using all the track on the exit. Going over to the right-hand side. The Vale chicane. Waller's line B. He gets a perfect apex on the inside. Doesn't compromise the second corner. Will he improve? He's 5.3 tenths down at the moment. He does improve. A 1:51.4. Still just under 5 tenths of a second off Johnson's lap time. However, it's only the beginning stages of the qualifying session. Not to worry so far, as 15 drivers have set their times at the moment. Cody Graham's in the 101, still hasn't gone out on track yet. He's the only car on pit road as he stands. He did top 3 practice before the race, so he'll definitely be a force to be reckoned with later on in this qualifying session. We're watching James Mollair as he makes his way around Brooklands towards Luffield. You can see he's keeping a nice tight line there, keeping the car nice and tidy. The Noxie Motorsports car now heading towards Copse Corner. Number 9 will be looking to take as many risks as possible. He needs to find 2/10 of a second to get on provisional pole. Will this lap be enough? There's Nick Marshall, the lone Englishman, the 32. Set of times is good enough for 14th fastest, 3.1 seconds off our current provisional pole position. As Mollair across the line, I don't think he improves that time. See Solano 2/10 down on Mollair. Try and get onto that front row. However, this will be the lap push you're looking for. This will be. I think he will get another run that he sure will. However, he gets traffic there. However, I don't think it's impeding him too much. He takes the correct line. coming out of the loop. Will he be up on his previous time? So it looks like Moller is currently 1/10 down on Johnson in the first sector. Sector 2, once again, another half a second, so 1.5 tenths. As Moller ditches that lap time, and he goes down towards the old pit lane, before choosing to make a reset. Alex Johnson's back out on track as well. Victor Solano's looking quite strong as well. Yeah, good racing, 99 car. Still going strong. Third place at the moment, that's the second row of the grid. Which I believe would be his best qualifying so far of the season. He goes wide at Chapel, showing us exactly how easy it is. That lap will be devalidated for the number 99. That will not count towards the final lap times of this session. Will he go for another lap? Will he pull off? I think he is going slowly. So it looks like he's cooling down the tyres, giving it one last shot before he resets. We're almost halfway through the qualifying session so far. 11 minutes of 25. Oh, you can see a little bit of a lock-up into Vale. His tyres aren't going to quite have the grip on the exit. Will they get it back before turn 1? Get good racing. Have a second row lockout at the moment. Barbaro trailing Solano. Both drivers were in the same tenth of a second. Half a tenth separates the two drivers. As number 13 makes his way through Copse corner. Once again going wide at Copse. And number 13 is not going to be happy about that one. However, he is on an outlap. So that wouldn't have counted anyway. However, you don't want to scrub these tyres too much. If you start scrubbing the tyres early on, you get tyre temperature pretty quickly. The tyres just don't last as long because you won't have as much grip as you go for your fast lap as you would if you went a little bit easy and bring the tyres in nice and gently. The more aggression, will, as I said, will bring the temperature up quicker, but they will drop off far sooner. Now then, Bradbury's first time lap of his second run of the session. He needs to find 4.7 tenths for the provisional pole. Will he improve? Will he beat Solano? Or may he even steal that second place from James Moller? As Cody Graham sets his first lap time 6.1 seconds behind. He's taking it a little bit easy to begin with. He's making sure those tyres come in nice and gently. You can see he's on his first time lap now. Making his way around the loop, clipping that apex, lovely. Second gear, accelerating through the gears now. $145 miles an hour coming into Copse, 146. Oh, you can see that rear end dicing about just a little bit, compromises turning slightly. Coming towards Luffield now, he takes a late apex, has a little bit of a hesitation on the power. Through Woodcote. Might have been wide, or he might have just about got away with it. Graham's either way, dicing with the track limits, trying to get every fraction of time he can out of this Dallara F312 Formula car. Out of the final corner, what will it be? He will improve as he goes on pole position, provisional pole for Cody Grams. 50.797, which is only fractionally quicker than Alex Johnson's quicker time of a 50.822. That is 200ths of a second separate our top two at the moment. That is a brilliant lap there from Cody Grahams. Alex Johnson is looking to improve. Here comes Johnson. Out of Luffield, through Woodcote. What will he do? What can he do to find extra lap time? I think he is lifting, yes. So he's looking for the perfect gap to begin his qualifying lap. Cody Grahams is out on his out lap once again. As we have 9 minutes remaining of this qualifying session. Remember, it takes a couple laps to warm up those tyres, which means you want to be making your way out for your final run soon. You see a lot of drivers in pit lane at the moment. Some are on their way out. Very, very wide track Silverstone is. It does offer quite a lot of overtaking opportunities. We'll get into the race. However, without DRS, it's more important to get those good exits, because you cannot rely on the drag reduction system to help you accelerate towards the car ahead. You have to use your racing skill, knowledge and expertise to outwit your opponents, get the better exit, and maybe throw a move down the inside, but it's more on the driver. Their personal skills about how well they can overtake, and their racecraft means absolutely everything in these cars. Coming out of the loop, using a lot of steering angle there to try and get the car turned in. I wonder if he scuffed those fronts just a little bit, which may reduce the grip coming into the next sequence of corners. The 101 chucking it around Maggots, Beckett's. Down the old hanger straight now towards Stowe Corner. It's important to get a good run out of Chapel. You can use a lot of time on these straights if you do not get an optimal exit. Now, we don't expect him to improve this time. However, the next lap will have to be the lap of the weekend for Cody Grahams. He has to improve to give himself some kind of safety to Alex Johnson. Alex Johnson knows what he's got to do. He's got to produce a lap of the century to get Cody Grahams. We know Cody Grahams does have a little bit of pace. We know Alex Johnson has that extra experience. He knows what to do to get those pole positions and put in those quick qualifying lap times. Mick Marshall. His home Grand Prix here today. He'll be looking to improve his position. He's currently 3.2 seconds behind the leader. He has a couple tenths of a second towards Basori in front of him. He needs to produce a brilliant lap here. Maybe utilise his extra tenths of a second you get from your home Grand Prix towards Magnussen Beckett's now. Here comes Marshall through Stowe Corner. The eyes are on him. The home fans supporting him. They're cheering in the grandstands for what they hope will be a brilliant lap from number 32. Can he get top 15? Using a lot of curb there at the Vale chicane. As he comes around the final corner, will he improve on his lap time? He crossed the line. Will it be? Not this time, by. Stays 3.3 seconds down. Cody Grams goes down to pit road, so that is his lap time. He will not have time to set another one in this qualifying session. It's all on Alex Johnson now. This will be the lap of the weekend. Towards Magnussen Beckett's now. The crowd, the eyes, everyone's on him to put in a good performance. Will he get the double pole position? He had the pole position last week. Will he get it this week? It looks like he's given up on this lap time. We'll be going for one more, I think. But this will be his last opportunity to set a quicker lap time. He needs to find 200ths of a second. Cody Grams won't set another lap time in the session, I don't believe, or at least a competitive one. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remain in this qualifying session. Here comes Alex Johnson. Using all of the track there through the loop. Out onto the Wellington Straight. Gaps between these midfield drivers well spotted. They are within minor kind of gaps. There is not a lot that separates. It looks like P14 all the way from P7. All separated only by 1 second. Gaps between these drivers very, very low. However, Alex Johnson is pushing the absolute socks off that Dallara 3 car. He needs to find every fraction of a second possible. As he makes his way through Copse Corner. It's a 21-1 for Sector 2. What will it be to Sector 3? How will it compare? Unfortunately, Cody Grams' lap times are not appearing on the thing as he's not currently on the track. However, towards Copse now, we go back on board with the 196. Alex Johnson through Stowe Corner. He improves in Sector 4. Grams is down in Sector 1 by 1/10 of a second. This is the lap. Coming through the final chicane, he has 1 minute left in the session. It's not enough to set another lap time. This has to be it. He nails the final corner. Here he comes now. Will he improve? Yes, he does. It's a 150.757. 400ths of a second quicker than Cody Grams. Can Cody Grams respond now? He's not going quickly. He doesn't have much time left in this session to set a quicker lap time. This is his only opportunity. However, I don't think his tyres are in the right window to really set a quicker lap time here. Sector 1 and 2, he does not improve on his time. Through Woodcote now towards Copse Corner. Will he dance with the track limits? He is giving it everything. He knows he has to, however he has 10 seconds left of this session, so he will not have time to finish his lap as he isn't improving any of the 3 sectors so far. He goes wide at Chapel just to seal it off. Has a little bit of a pity spin. And that is it. A very, very exciting final moments of this qualifying session. Now then, the grid for today's race will go through. Pole position, Alex Johnson with a 150.757 starting on pole. Cody Graham starts second, 400ths of a second down, followed by James Mollair in third. Barbary rounds out the second row. Victor Solano, Barbary's teammate for Get Good Racing, starting fourth and fifth. Frederick Larson starting in sixth place, followed by Josh Schroeder in seventh. Andy Ray Miller starting eighth. Jake Potts starting ninth. Arturo Mayorga rounds out the fifth row and the top 10 here today. Zhao Kim Flubman starting 11th. Ian Rudd starts in 12th place today, followed by John Journey. Paul Ayala starting 14th. Tate Kuman starts 15th. Azamabad Aliyu starting 16th. Randolph Smith 17th. Justin Pastori starting 18th place here today. And the lone Britishman for his home Grand Prix starts 19th place here today. 3.3 seconds down for Wolfpack Racing. Aljamar Alberg starting 22nd. Sorry, apologies. Jack Clark starts 20th place. Jakob Szymanski starts 21st. Hijack Alberg starting 22nd. Tristan Marshall 23rd. Cuthbert Mabanga starts in 24th place, rounding out a 24-car grid here today. Now then, we're waiting for our drivers to grid up what will be, I'm sure, an exciting feature race. 21 laps it is. Drivers revving their engines. They cannot keep in the excitement. Now then, the lights go green. They're coming up. It's 5 lights, and away we go for the British Grand Prix feature race here today. The Get Good Racing car, number 13, Barbaru, comes move to the inside. Alex Johnson holds it. They're too wide. Mollair and Grams. For second place, Alex Johnson off into the distance. He is gone. Cody Grams falls down to second place. Mollair's up into second. To look farther behind, Solano's having a battle there between, I believe that is Jake Potts on the inside. Frederick Larson, no that is. Frederick Larson is the Get Good Racing sandwich. He's going to be battling, goes side by side. He's swerving all over the track. Barbaru defends the inside line. Larson takes the outside. We look further in front. Grams and Crowler are having another battle. Grams gets back ahead into Brooklands. Just like the British Grand Prix, there are battles all over the grid here. But it looks like Cody Grams is able to snatch that position back. However, Johnson already has a 1 second lead. That is massive for this Grand Prix. Now it looks like we have cars off into the distance. However, you can see a leader currently. Alex Johnson, the Swedishman, in first place. Followed by Cody Graham, there's 1 second behind. Followed by Mollair, Barbary, last in your top 5. As Mollair goes down into pit road. What is he doing? He's in the pit lane already on lap 1 of 21. He must have had a start infringement that allowed him to get past Cody Grams. He might have jumped the start here. That is massive. Absolutely massive here for Cody Graham. Still 1 second behind. Barbary moves up to third place as now your podium. Larson and Solano are now your top 5. Is battling behind. This looks to go slightly more single file now. The gap's starting to get a little bit bigger. Over here's a battle here. It's between Schroeder, Arturo Mayorga. Correction, Miller and Mayorga. Miller just about stays ahead of Mayorga. However, Mayorga has the inside line. Both teammates battling here towards towards Brooklands they go. Miller pulls off to the left hand side to break the draft. Ayala cannot catch back up. as we have the car sounds cranked all the way up for the audience. Here we go, towards cops now. You can see how hard it is to follow as the dirty air does affect these Formula 3 cars. You can see how much steering Miller has to put in to stay onto the track there, which definitely hampered his exit coming towards Max and Beckett. In lap 2 of 21, the tyres are starting to come up to temperature now, so we can start to see the true driver's pace here today and how much they can push. Mayorga gets a bad exit coming out of Chapel. Miller has the draft. Will he move to the inside line? I think Mayorgas can defend the inside. Miller chooses to stay behind. Team orders. It looks like for the best team result here. Now then, we look back to Victor Solano, who's eyeing up Frederick Larson. He's closing and closing. Will he make a move this lap? The tyres are up to temperature. He can send it if he wants to. However, it's still only lap 3 of 21. So it's a long way to go here. He can wait. He can bide his time. No, he doesn't. He dives down the inside into turn 3. Village he goes. Now round the loop. Solano has the outside line. Larson has the shorter run on the inside. Larson stays ahead for now. However, Solano's going to duck behind into the draft and back out to the outside. Down the Wellington Straight we go towards Brooklands. Who will be last on the brakes? Larson has the inside line, but Solano isn't going to give it up. Giving absolute space there. Larson leaves enough room on the inside. Solano has the inside for Luffield and gets the move done. However, Larson may have a run coming down the old pit straight and maybe, just maybe, a run back into Cop Corner. However, I don't see it happening. He's a little bit too far back for that, unfortunately. It looks like you can see how difficult it is to follow through that section. Oh, Solano goes wide out of Chapel there. That's going to affect his exit onto the Wellington Straight. Larson is a little bit too far back once again. 5/10 is the gap as it looks like Szymanski's rolling down the order. He's into the barrier. Szymanski's having problems there at Mags and Beckett's. Trying to keep it on the track. Will he still keep it rolling? I think he will. That is really going to hamper his chances of getting a good result in this race. It goes down to 19th place. Marshall moving up to 18th. Alex Johnson starting the fastest lap of the race of a 1:51.5, which is beaten by Cody Grams. A 1:51.2, 3/10 quicker. Cody Grams goes 1.2 seconds still the gap. We go back to the battle, however, for 4th place. Larson is still lining up Solano. He's staying in behind, and he's still there. He's going to be ooh! Solano having a massive kick of oversteer there. Through Village, now out of the loop. Larson's going to have a run. He's very, very close. What will he be able to do? Larson has that inside line to Brooklands. Solano chooses the outside. However, he'll turn the inside for Luffield. Larson closes the door. And the move is done. Larson up into 2nd place. Or correction, Larson to 4th place. Yeah, good racing. Currently 3rd and 5th at the moment. Ryan has Frederick Larson. He's still in 4th place. However, Solano's only 3/10 back coming down the Hanger Straight. He may be able to dive and move into Stoke Corner if he drives his time right. And he plays his cards correctly. He's not quite close enough this time by. However, Cody Grams is closing that gap to Johnson. The battle for 1st is on. Johnson has pressure. For the first time in a while here, someone is able to catch up to the back of him. And that gap is going down and down every lap by a couple tenths to go. And Szymanski rolls down the order once again. 22nd place. He's having more issues there in the 95 as he goes wide. Out of Chapel, back onto the circuit. However, he's right down the running order. Only Randolph Smith is down to 23rd place. He's having a little bit of issues there as it looks like there's more battling between Villano and Larson. They're side by side. They're out of village. Sano is very, very dicey on the power that car is. He's having a little bit of issues keeping that traction down, which early on in this race is not what you want. Lap 5 of 21. Well, the driver's still pretty close here today. We're going to go back to Jack Clark though. Jack Clark is eyeing up Aliyu. 2 tenths behind he is round Luffield. We're going to ride on board with the 197. Jack Clark from Virginia. Using another steering angle through Cops there. That's going to scrub a lot of time. And wear out those full tyres all the faster. Following through Max and Beckers, he can't quite make it work. However, it looks like Jim Potts is eyeing up Streff Roeder. He goes down the inside or takes a look. Schroeder holding that outside line well. First and 6th it is at the moment for the 2 teammates. Ooh, a little bit dicey on the curve there, as it looks like. Schroeder has disappeared from the racetrack. I mean, a massive link here. Will he return? I don't think so, no. Oh, there he is. There's Schroeder. 6th place. There he comes back. I'm a little bit scared for a minute. But it looks like his Wi-Fi has uncrapped itself. Alex Johnson out ahead. Cody Graham's under chase. 1 second it is at the moment. Couple laps is going up. Couple laps is going down. However, Graham's last time by was 2 tenths slower than Alex Johnson. Alex Johnson sending a 151.4. However, Graham's is closing that gap once again. 9 tenths it is, going down the old pit straight. Will he get a draft? I don't think so. A little bit too far back for the time being. Using all of the track limits. The pressure is on. Cody Graham knows what he's got to do. So does Johnson. Cody has got to close that gap and just leave any opportunity or stay within the window for a mistake. We know Johnson isn't prone to making mistakes, however... Oh, I say that! He goes wide at Chapel. He's into the grass on the right-hand side. Commentator's curse at its finest. Johnson is off the racetrack. He's back on now. Out of Chapel corner. However, that has opened up the gates for Cody Grahams. He has the pace and he takes the lead of the British Grand Prix. Marion Barbary 1 second behind. Will he be able to get a little bit closer? We know Johnson has the pace to break away. However, those hotter tyres from going off wide may impact his lap time slightly. We look back to Ian Rudd as he's coming up behind Alberg. He pulls off to the right hand side. The Team Banana car defends the outside. Rudd goes down the inside. The 22, the B Team racing car, makes his way up into 16th place, round Stoke corner towards Vale. Jake Potts and Jess Schroeder back at it again. Potts 5 tenths behind, coming into the loop. There's a watch from the gearbox of Jess Schroeder as number 41 of Jake Potts ever gets closer. 41, all in the mirrors, trying to force Josh Schroeder into a mistake. Schroeder stays ahead, coming through Woodcote now. as the gaps are starting to spread out just a little bit. Everyone's kind of evenly spaced at the moment. Kind of the 1 sort of seconds is the gap at the moment between every driver. 1-2 seconds it is. Schroeder and Potts battle on. Solano is a little bit further on the road. He's still trying to eye up Frederick Larson. Okay, there are 2 battles going on track at the moment. Moller is also trying to make his way back up after having to go down pit road on that first lap. He's coming up behind Aliyu now. Right on board with James Moller. And he makes his way round the final corner towards the start-finish line. Will he be able to make a move into turn 1? Has to take a little bit of a lift there. However, Aliyu is slow. Moller move to the inside line. Into turn 3 he goes. Down the inside. The number 9 getting that move stuck. Aliyu moves down to 14th place. Moller now up into 13th. Let's look further ahead. Ted Kuhlman and Pastori are battling side by side into Stowe Corner. Or correction, into Brooklands. Both of them not choosing up to put a fight and play the team game here tonight at Silverstone. You see we have a long train of cars here, all looking to get past one another. Moller 1/10 behind now. Here comes Moller on Kuhlman. He tries to make a move, takes a pinch down the inside of Magnussen Beckett. Overthinks the better of it. He's going to wait. He's going to save his time. He's going to set up the exit here. Out of Chapel he goes. Side by side. Will he have to make the move stick? We know Kuhlman may be able to duck behind into the draft and maybe make a move once again. But they're still side by side towards Stowe now, who tries to lose as little time as possible as he blasts on the brakes. And number 9 once again moving his way up into 12th place. Next target, Pastori, 11th. Here comes Jake Potts and Jeff Schroeder down the inside of turn 3. Schroeder holds him off for another lap. Potts takes the wide line. He's trying to get the exit. He's right behind Schroeder now. Not a lot he can do. Schroeder defends the inside line for Brooklands. Here comes down the Wellington Straight. Solano, or correction, Potts takes the inside line now. They've switched. And Potts dives down the inside. Schroeder trying to hold the outside line, which turns into the inside for Luffield. Potts leaves some space. Out of Luffield now towards Woodcote. They're still side by side. No. Looks like Potts is out ahead. Schroeder though towards Cobb's corner. Will it be a repeat? Schroeder will choose the inside line. That's how you take Cox. Should show Lewis Hamilton that lesson. Maybe he won't hit Max Verstappen like he did in the 2021 British Grand Prix. They're still too wide. Going into Magnussen Beckett. Side by side racing. Not giving each other an inch of space going through there. Potts comes out ahead. However, Schroeder will have the draft coming down the main straight. Oh no! Jake Potts has spun. Jake Potts into the gravel, into the grass to the right side of the chapel. Big mistake there. Hard racing, and the risks didn't pay off. As there goes through John Journey. Well, the drivers making tiny mistakes, costing them absolute big time here in this British Grand Prix so far. That 10 and 21 as Rudd also goes deep. Magnussen Beckett into travel, trying to keep it in a straight line, which he does. It's a good save. He loses the position to Elberg though. Down to 17th place. we go. We're going to watch what happened. Once again, the core Jake pots to go around. We're going to ride on board. Oh, so it looks like out of Chapel Corner. He's right on the limit of grip and taps that rear left tyre into the grass, which sends him spinning around, careening almost into the wall. But it looks like the gravel traps, they've been remodeled a couple days ago in the sim. That makes it so they actually slow down the car. So because of that, he keeps it out of the barrier and is able to continue this race. However, the team are going to have a lot of cleaning jobs to do to get all of that gravel out of the components of that Formula 3 car. However, he lives the fight another day, which is the most important thing. So, Cody Grams leads at the moment. Johnson is closing that gap once again though. 1.2 seconds between our leaders, so the fight is not over. Last time by, Cody Grams was exactly 1/10 of a second quicker, setting a 0.67. Johnson setting a 0.77 in the 196. Alex Johnson will be looking to make up the deficits as he gave up earlier on in this race. Towards the pit window we go now. We may see drivers start to make their way down into the pits to make their first and only pit stops of this race. As I say that, Pasori goes down the pit lane. I wonder for what reason. Now it looks like he's making his first pit stop. So Pastori is the first man down to pit road. He's taken the plunge. As you can see, last time by, you can see the gap between Grams and Johnson, so we can see Johnson has made massive inroads on lap 9 there. 8/10 of a second it was. However, last time Grams was able to scratch that gap by 1/10 of a second, which we mentioned before. However, on aggregate, that gap is coming down. And down it continues to go. Solano goes on pit road as well. They're good racing with the 99 car. He's the second man to go down pit road here tonight. Bear in mind, these tyre strategy is quite important. We'll talk about that in just a second here. As Koeman and Aliyah are going side by side. Koeman comes out ahead. Oh, correction, Aliyah comes out ahead. Abdul Samad coming out of the Vero chicane comes out ahead. His teammate up in 4th place, so he's got a lot of places to make up. However, after that move, his ego's going to be on a high. He's going to be wanting more. 9.8 seconds is the gap to Moller in front, but it is possible, maybe with some good pit strategy, as Ayala also goes down pit road as well as Marshall. Coming back to the front as he pull up that time delta once again. If it will come up, there we go. So we can see last time by, Johnson was half a tenth quicker, as that gap is now 1.3 seconds. It was 1.1 for a minute there. No, 1.2 it is, 1.1. Johnson is closing down now. He knows he's got his eyes absolutely set on the number 101. As this battle will go down to the wire here. Will they go down pit road this time? No, they won't. Bear in mind, on these Dallara F3 cars, the tyre warm-up takes a long time, in which the lap times do go down a little bit. It takes a while to bring those tyres up to temperature and the lap times back up, which means an overcut could be the way to go. You want to go as long as possible on the tyres in order to avoid having to go slowly on the cold tyres. As Schroeder goes down pit road now, number 73 into the pit lane he goes. And pulling into the pit stall is the number 73. A very, very short pit road here in Silverstone, so you don't lose too much time every time you take the pit stop. Fresh tyres go on. And out of the pit box he goes. Where will he come out? That is the question. There are cars on the exit. Will there be a factor this time? No, he comes out behind Solano and Moller, who are having a battle of their own. Now then, we go back to our leaders. This is going to be very, very interesting how these drivers choose to play their tyre strategy. Of course, with the warm-up will be the undercut or the overcut. No! Both of them go down the pit road. Now, lap 13 of 21. They both go down into the pit lane. Who will have the best stop? Who will be able to optimise their pit stop the most? He's right on board for Alex Johnson. We'll see if that gap goes down. Who will take risk on pit exit? Who will try and gun it out of the pit stall? Maybe if they spin the tyres, they could lose time. It's all about nailing this and not making any mistakes. As Barbrew stays out, he takes the lead of the race in the number 13. It looks like Johnson comes out in front. Johnson comes out in front here. Cody Grams falls behind in the pit lane. What's going on? Grams is still in the pit stall. He's losing more time. Did he get a speeding penalty into the pit lane? Let's watch on board. Oh. Just pulling into pit road. He has the pit limiter on. I don't think it was on the entry, but look, he disengages his pit limiter on pit road. And he must have got a penalty from that. That is astonishing. I've never seen that before. In how long I've been racing. Wow, that is a massive mistake from Cody Grams. Tapping that pit limiter button, costing him greatly, and the chance to win this race as it stands. As Barbrew goes down into the pit lane, however, he will have led the lap. Alex Johnson now is clear around in front, 10 seconds over Frederick Larson. You're going to go further back to John Nicholas Journey, who's having a battle with Jake Potts here, coming into Magnussen Beckett. We're on board with John Journey. As he is on his journey through Mags and Beckett's out of Chapel, you can see Molar out in front, giving it everything. 410 it is, going down the back straight. Molar should stay ahead here, bar any mistakes. Lap 15 of 21. 7 laps remain of this British Grand Prix. That's 7 laps to make up your positions. There are 2 battles on track at the moment. We're going to go forward to Victor Solano, who's coming back up to the rear end of to Frederick Larson. So because of the absence of Cody Grams, that makes this the battle for the last spot on the podium. Larson holds it at the moment. He has the advantage in 3rd place. But here comes Solano. Larson wants to hold off that position. Solano wants to take it off him. I'm sure as this race comes to its closing stages, the battle will come to the end as these drivers are very, very close on pace. Who tends the gap is coming towards Copse Corner now. Takes a good line. Larson pushing it on the exit, managed to extend the gap just a little bit, which should keep him safe coming down the straight. There's a driver weaving out in front, not quite sure who that is. That might have been Barbary trying to warm up his tyres. As he sees Larson in his rearview mirror getting closer and closer. Barbary currently has that second place, but it could make it a 1-2 or 2-3 finish for Get Good Racing if Solano can get past Larson. Solano goes a little bit deep into Vale, and that gap starts to stretch out a little bit now. 8/10 it is. So then, Solano, 6/10 behind. Freddie Larson coming on to lap 17 here. Will he be able to capitalise? Will it be a 2-3 for Get Good Racing? Or will Larson steal that last spot on the podium? Or we have a Leclerc Hamilton-Perez fight. The P2 maybe. I think Larson is closing that gap slightly to Barbary. 1.7 seconds it is. Crossing the line. As you have a look, Larson last time by was 2 tenths slower. Barbary stretching that gap out in front just a little bit. Number 13 picking up the pace just a little bit because he knows if he lets Larson get close and he makes a small mistake, that could be the end. Or even getting his podium chances because Solano is so close behind. He wants to encourage Larson and Solano to battle in order for him to stay as safe as possible and extend that gap, which is what he wants. He does not want to be under any pressure if he can avoid it. However, we've seen it's very easy to make mistakes here, especially in Magnussen Beckett. It's one of the most tricky sections of the racetrack, or even of any racetrack for that matter. However, if you nail it, it is probably one of the most satisfying as well sections of racetrack. Also, I'd say in the world. It's a very, very good racetrack here at Silverstone, and the racing is always brilliant, as we've already seen, and he's put on a great showcase. We go back to Jack Clark, who's chasing after Nick Marshall. Nick Marshall currently in 16th place. As both drivers are currently up 3 positions from where they began in this race. We haven't seen as many position changes as we have seen in previous events, as drivers at these Silverstones be encouraging more cleaner racing. We haven't had much contact between drivers and drivers coming out of the race, as only Joachim Flugman is the only driver to retire from this Grand Prix. All drivers are still running, which is quite impressive, I'd have to say. Very on board with our true Mayorga as he chases after Jake Potts for the 7th position here. Because the feature points matter far more on the sprint, they're going to try and get the positions here and take all the risks in the feature race. However, you could equally say, because there's less points at stake in the sprint race, you can choose to send it a little bit more. However, the stakes are higher here in the feature race. It means more points are up for grabs. Meaning that each position just means so much more. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. Mole's closing up to Mayorga. He makes a dive down the inside. Into Vale now. Mole is last on the brakes. Mayorga goes down into 9th place. Mole capitalising on the small mistake from Mayorga, braking a little bit early. And he capitalises it very, very well. Moving up into 8th place. Jake Potts, 1.6 seconds up the road. We know Mole has the pace. He was 3rd place at the beginning of this race. He's down 5 spots from where he started at the moment. However, he's trying to make up all the deficit he can before the end of this race, as the gap's already 1.2 seconds. Jake Potts in front, so he is giving it everything. Oh, Mayorga goes a little bit wide out of Chapel, then makes a very, very small mistake that costed him massively. So before he was in the draft, maybe within the shot, to take him back to 8th place, but now he's dropped back 2 seconds behind Mole. So now then, we're going to ride back on board with Mole, who's chasing after Jake Potts. He's for 7th place on track, 4th position, coming onto the final lap of the race. Or correction, onto the penultimate lap. Coming on to lap 20. Here they go. 2-lap shootout between the two drivers. Cody Gunn's also coming up behind Logan. 2 battles on track at the moment. After that very, very costly mistake in pit road. Cody Grams will be looking to make up that. And kind of grab as many points as possible out of this race. 4/10 it is, coming towards Brooklands. Onto the Wellington straight we go. We know Crams does like to send one up the inside. He has the pace for it. He'll be looking for any opportunity. As you can see, he has a look, and who's down on the right hand side of the track? And it looks like lap traffic off to the side. Mayorga defends the inside line. As you watch from the TV cams, Mayorga stays ahead for now. Grams has the exit. They're side by side, coming towards Maggots. Who will be last to back out? Mayorga backs out. Let's Cody Grams have the position. He knows Cody Grams has the pace. He only had to hold on for 1 lap. However, he chooses to let him go, which is a smart decision. He doesn't want to get into any contact. As we move further forward though, here is the battle. Here comes James Mole onto Jake Potts into the Stowe corner on the penultimate lap of this race. They're side by side. Mole has the inside line towards Vale now. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Molaire has that inside line. Nobody goes off the track this time, so Hamilton will not go through this time. However, here comes Molaire. Jake Potts stays ahead for now. Molaire has the pace. He's all over the back end. Will he be able to make this opportunity stick? As we ride on board, coming through turn 1. The pressure is on for Molaire to make this position. And so is for Jake Potts. All Potts fans out there will be biting their nails as they just know how stressful the situation is. Will Molaire find an opportunity to get past? Or will Potts be able to hold him off? 6/10 it is now. Oh, there's a little bit of metal crunching there for Moller as he uses all of the track. Tapping the wall on the inside of Woodcote. This is going to try and make up the time. 3 Magnus and Beckett's 3/10 the gap. It will be dirty air. Will it be better? Will it be quicker than Potts? To the right, then the left, then the right again in Chapel. Who will have the better exit? Molaire keeps it tight. Potts goes a little bit wide. Molaire 4/10 the gap now. We know he is better on the brakes, but will he be able to capitalise on the opportunity? The number 9, trying to find every opportunity. The number 41, looking for every opportunity to defend. 3/10 the gap, out of Stowe corner. It's front wing to rear wing. Molaire is a little bit too far back. All he has to do now is bring it home in one piece. Jake Potts comes out in front. Molaire will have to settle for 8th place here today, but what a brilliant fight he's put on after that fallback at the beginning of the race. He comes home to finish in 8th place. Absolutely stellar finish from both these drivers. A battle right to the checkered flag as we're going to watch Ian Rudd as he's 7/10 behind Pasori. There could possibly be an opportunity here if he capitalises well. However, he goes a little bit wide. He's going to have to hope a mistake for Pasori to get past now or any of the drivers ahead. Coming into Vale now. Here comes Rudd. Will he be able to make an opportunity stick? No. He stays in behind. 15th place it is for the number 22 Canadian. Here comes Nick Marshall of World Pack Racing. He's not had the best of races. However, he has gone up just a little bit. As you pull up the positions game, we can see Nick Marshall has gone up 3 positions from where he began in this race, starting P19, has made his way all the way up into P16 as he rounds the final corner. A positive result for the Britishman. Here comes Clark and Smith. And Aliyu is the last man to cross the line, and that rounds out. What a brilliant race that was here in Silverstone. Unfortunately, because of the racing format, we can't pull up the grid so far. However, we can read it back to you as it stands. So winning that race, Alex Johnson comes home to win that race, followed by Barbaro, and Larson is your top 3. Jeff Schroeder finishes in 4th place, followed by Solano in 5th, Miller in 6th, Jake Potts finishes 7th, Molaire in 8th, Grams 9th, and Mayorga rounds out the top 10, followed by John Journey, Ayala, Kuman, and Pasori. Rudd finishing 15th. Marshall finishing 16th, Clark in 16th, followed by Smith and Aliyu in 19th, and Mabanga rounding out the top 20, followed by Marshall, Alberg, Szymanski, and Flubman, your final cars here today. So that was the feature race event here today, as we have a short intermission before the sprint race begins. We hope you enjoy the ad break, and we'll be back in just a second for another 5-lap sprint of absolutely brilliant racing. Ladies, gentlemen, and race fans, welcome back. As we're now preparing for the sprint race here today, we'll go through our grid very shortly here. We'll just cover the top 12. So Paul Ayala starts on pole position, followed by John Journey, Arturo Mayorga, Cody Grams rounds out your second row, followed by James Moller, and Jake Potts starting 5th and 6th here today. Both for Knox E-Motorsports, both drivers fighting to the line in the feature race. Will be starting alongside each other on the 3rd row of the grid. Followed by Andy Ray Miller starting 7th, Victor Solano starting in 8th place, Jeff Schroeder starting 9th, Frederick Larson starting 10th, Barbara Roof starting 11th, and Johnson rounds out your top 12 here today. We only have time to cover that for the time being. As the lights are going on now for the second instalment of racing here at Silverstone. And the lights go out, and away we go for the sprint race here today. Arla covers that inside line. Mayorga tries to take a peek around the outside. There's 3 battles, and there's a massive collision. Who's involved in that one? Miller, Clark, Marshall, as well as Grams and Solano are all dropping down the order. There's absolute controversy here on the first lap of the sprint race. Drivers still touching through lap 3. Or correction, corner 3. Ayala still holds the lead. James Moller is up into 2nd place already. From 7th place he started, or from 6th place. They're still fighting further back. John Journey and Jeff Schroeder, both teammates in 10 Motorsports. Journey backs it off. Miller takes the position ahead. He's going to take a peek down the inside of Schroeder, getting very close to contact there. Fortunately not coming together. There's a massive line here. Lap 1 towards Cops now. Will there be contact? Will there be a through goes Hamilton moment? Yeah, 2 wide out in front. Probably one of them, man, going out wide there. In slowdown territory. Ayala holds on to the lead. 3/10 behind is Moller. We know Moller has pace. How long can Ayala hold him back? There's only 5 laps he does to win this race. But I think Moller, as he comes out of the corner now, will have the run. Weaving, left, right, left. Trying to break that gap. As Mayorga's dropping down the order, he's made a mistake in Max and Beckett. So does Jake Potts. Larson goes down the inside. Moller, here comes. He moves to the outside line now. Towards Vale we go. Who will be last on the brakes? Leclerc has that inside line. Unfortunately, Perez doesn't push him off the track, and they're still side by side. Moller comes out ahead. Ayala's very close behind. He dives down to the inside towards turn 1 now. They almost touch. Moller forced out wide. Ayala back out in front. There's more battling going on behind. That's Barbaro off the track there. He's suffered massively. He was out ahead before. He's not anymore. It's a 3-way battle for P5. Almost P3, I would say, as they're still side by side. Potts, Miller, side by side, coming out of the loop. Towards now, Brooklands corner, down the Wellington straight. They're side by side. There's Larson, slow on the inside line. Does he have a slowdown? Frederick Larson letting everybody by. What's gone on to him? Journey comes out ahead. They're still side by side. Miller and Potts. Miller has the advantage on the inside line. They're 2 wide through Woodcoe. Potts pulls to the inside line. Don't come off that apex, Jack. Or James, sorry, excuse me. No, he doesn't. He does have damage to that front wing though. That could impact his pace. As we look back, Alex Johnson not having the best starts to this race. After winning the feature race, he's only up into P9 as it stands. He didn't have the brilliant lap 1 as he was called, I think, into the collisions at the beginning of the race. However, there's a battle for 2nd place between Schroeder and Ayala. Ayala has that inside line. Schroeder's on the outside. Towards Vale we go again. And he still carries on. Solano's going down the order. What's happened to him? Solano is behind Marshall now. We're back to about Alex Johnson says the quickest lap of the race. So 1:53.0. However, here's the battle between Jess Schroeder and Paul Ayala for second place. It still continues. We ride on board with Schroeder as he tries to get past. Oh, Ayala squeezing him to that inside line. They're too wide on the left-hand side of the track. Dust being kicked up. Schroeder has the inside line. Ayala has the outside, which will turn into the inside for Luffield. Schroeder on the outside line now. They're still too wide coming through Woodcote. Ayala has the inside line. Will have the shorter run coming through the kink onto the old pit straight. Schroeder is still on the outside line. Ayala has the inside. Side by side, Schroeder pulls out. Ayala goes very, very deep into the corner. Will Schroeder be able to get back? No, he can't. Journey Schroeder in 10 Motorsports coming in 5th and 4th here today. As well as Johnson coming in behind in the number 7. Schroeder. Here comes round 3. His third attempt to get past. We ride back on board. Ayala moving left, right, weaving all over the track. Schroeder looks for the inside. They make contact on the straight. Weaving excessively. That could be a protest. However, Schroeder round the outside. Towards Vale again. For the third time this race, they make contact into the braking zone. Nerves at a high here. Schroeder goes deep. He keeps ahead. Ayala has the exit. He looks, he takes a peek down the inside of the final corner. They're too wide again coming into turn 1. Ayala is not giving this one up. Mola is stretching the gap out in front. However, the battle for second is still heating up ever more. They're still too wide going into turn 1. Schroeder has the outside line. Ayala goes back down the inside. There's a little bit of squeezing going on as Miller spins round on the inside line, out of the loop. Once again, the battle continues. Alex Johnson is just in behind. It's a 4, 5 and 6 for Inten Motorsports. Schroeder round the outside of Ayala. Ayala holds him off once again. Schroeder's pushed off the track. Intense sim racing, looking very, very intimidating. 3 cars separated by less than 10 metres apiece. As there's more battling again, there's more contact. Ayala holds the inside line. Schroeder looking for a way to get by. Ayala goes deep. Here comes Schroeder. What can he do? Journey is just behind, and so is Johnson. Johnson's made his way up into 4th place. He's making his way up the positions very quickly. Here comes round 4. Johnson's also there. Will he play the team game? Will he push his teammate round? Ayala's moving left. He's moving right. He commits to the inside line. Johnson and Schroeder to the outside into Stowe Corner. Who's going to be last on the brakes? Ayala goes deep once again. They're still side by side and there's more contact. Schroeder is round. I was scared that was going to happen. Ayala's still side by side with Johnson. He goes deep once again. Johnson's looking for a way by. He gets the switchback. Ayala goes deep. Through goes Johnson. Out of the final corner. To round out the penultimate lap of this race now. Who's that on the inside line? Barbaro spun out. Drama left, right and centre here. Coming onto the final lap of this race. There's not any lack of excitement here. Mola has that 10-second gap, so all he has to do is bring it home from now. He takes the white flag. Cody Grams is also coming up behind as well. All quick drivers separated by a couple tenths of a second on the final lap of the race. Here comes Journey on Ayala. We'll watch it from Cody Grams, who has a front row seat of the action. Journey goes to the inside line. Will Ayala defend heavily? Grams takes a peek. Ayala goes wide. Into left field we go. Grams is looking for any opportunity he can. He's going to stick him behind. He picks the inside line. Ayala goes deep. It's 3 wide. Coming out of left field towards Woodcote now is Grams and Journey for 3rd place. Battling even more behind. It's Ayala and Potts. Ayala stays ahead. Cody, oh my Jesus Lord. Ayala goes wide massively again. He is pushing to the limit. the absolute limits and beyond to find everything he can out of that Formula 3 car. Johnson stretched the gap out in front. Here's a battle for second. They make contact. Oh my god. You would not have seen that coming. Cody Grams and Journey making contact on a final lap of the race. Cody Grams is forced out of pit road. James Moller towards the final corner. He's going to take the win. Ayala's also spinning. There's cars on the track as well. He falls down the order into 12th place. Looking maybe 13th as Solano's coming behind as well. Moller takes a checkered flag. He wins a sprint race here. However, it's not over. There's still battles behind. Here comes Solano. He's eyeing up Ayala. Will he get it by? We're going to go on board towards Vale now. Once again, the 5th time I've said that in this race. Will he be able to make it by? Solano getting very close to that rear bumper. However, he sticks him behind. That is a result. And no, Ayala goes wide. Solano has the inside line. Who's going to win it to the line? Solano gets it. No, he doesn't. Ayala fights back. Ayala gets 12th place, separated by only 12 thousandths of a second there. Wow, what a battle. What a battle indeed. That was absolutely incredible on the final lap of the race. James Moller coming home with a dominant victory of this sprint race, taking all the opportunities he can, winning the race with an absolutely massive margin over Johnson of 9.4 seconds. Solano will not be happy with that one. He had it so close within his grasps. However, 12 thousandths of a second separated his chances of getting inside of that top 12. We're still waiting for our final drivers to make their way round. Mayorga and Rudd. Rudd trailing behind Mayorga for 18th and 19th place apiece. Absolutely incredible. As it looks like once again the results page is broken on SDK. The timing software not behaving nicely. We'll try it once more. Unfortunately not. So the timing tower it is then. So Moller finishes the race in first place. Johnson finished in second. Jake Potts finishes third. Miller and Journey rounds out your top 5. Bloodman finishes in 6th place with an absolutely great result for him after coming so low in that feature race, bringing it all the way up into 6th place. Basori finishes 7th. Clark finishes in 8th place. Schroeder, after that contact, finishes down in 9th place. Barbary rounds out the top 10. Aliyu in 11th. Ayala finishes 12th. Solano in 13th. Followed by Marshall in 14th. Mabanga 15th. Szymanski in 16th, followed by Kuman, Mayorga, Rudd and Smith rounding out your top 20. Cody Grams, after having a very, very horrible final lap of the race, very, very sour, I believe, that feeling will not be very good for him, finishing last place out of the runners in 21st place, followed by Frederick Larson. Nick Marshall and Alberg finishing the results here at Silverstone as we just cooling down after what was an absolutely incredible race. We're going to get our interviews up in just a second here. As we just get things figured out. So then, Alex Johnson coming home in 2nd place in that sprint race and also a win in the feature. That's big points once again for you. What a brilliant weekend.
Yeah, I can't complain. I woke up this morning at the hotel, hangover as F. So yeah, I was genuinely thinking like, how am I supposed to do this today? But yeah, obviously race 1 was, I feel a bit bad for Cody because apparently he had a bit of a mishap in the pits.
Yeah,
because he was super quick. So like all credit to him there. Race 2 was just something else. I don't know what happened there. It was like I yeah, I better say nothing because that was some sketchy shit.
yeah,
But yeah, I obviously survived both of those, and yeah,
that's
very
what
very good
counts.
points again.
Yeah, very, very good points. A brilliant finish for you. Um, yeah, Cody Graham was very, very quick in that feature race. It looked like we were going to have a battle to the finish, but unfortunately it wasn't to be. However, as always, the commentator's curse as well, I want to mention in the feature race. I mentioned that you didn't make many mistakes, and then 2 seconds later you go wide at Chapel Corner, letting Grams pass for the lead.
Yeah, I was pushing super hard. Like I was trying to pull out the gap on Cody, and he was just going as hard as I was. And then like the smallest of mistakes, and obviously I almost lost it. It was so close to completely binning the car, but obviously it worked out in the end. So yeah,
Yeah,
it was a fun race. Actually, it was really enjoyable.
yeah,
It was good to being pushed and be able to like to push the guy in front as well. It was good fun.
I can imagine. Thank you very much. It's been great talking to you. And before we sign off, any friends, family, or sponsors you'd like to give a big shout out to?
Of course, the team. Thanks to you for the broadcast, and yeah, that's about it today.
Thank you very much, Alex. See you tomorrow.
See
Oh,
you around.
tomorrow. Next week.
See you in a week. Yeah.
See ya.
Bye bye.
Bye. That was Alex Johnson winning the feature race and coming home in the sprint race here today, collecting up the points where he could. Next up, then, Marion Barbaru. A good race for you, especially, well, not a brilliant weekend, a little bit of mistakes here and there. Just bring us through what was, how did the weekend go for you from your perspective?
Well, first of all, I want to say hi to Mihai Bogdan, my friends. They watched all of this, and to all the guys watching this broadcast. And thank you for doing it. And yeah, regarding the weekend, it went pretty good. I mean, in the race, the only bad thing were the tires. After 10 laps, my tires were completely done. So Larson was catching to me. So it was kind of a sprint in the last part. I wanted just to get the car to the finish line because the tires were absolutely dead. So pretty tricky weekend, but I'm very happy with the result. I think it's my best result in the league so far.
Yeah, some good points bringing home, especially for the team as well. But yeah, it was an absolutely brilliant weekend. Cars going off left, right, and centre, especially in that sprint race. It's just so much action. What is your mindset going into the sprint race? Is it to try and avoid collisions or just try and take every opportunity you can?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm working on my mindset in the sprints because as you saw it it's it's chaotic there, and I just tried to avoid all incidents, but unfortunately it got me in the end. It was my fault, but yeah, it's a sprint race in the end. It's just 6 laps. You gotta try to do as best as you can. So obviously people are doing some risky moves. I used to do that in the past as well, like in the last sprint. But yeah, this is something that for sure we can learn moving to the next Grand Prix. But I'm very happy for my team, for Victor and Jack, and we hope that we'll take some more points in the next race.
Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. I know you've already kind of said it already, but is anyone else you want to give a shout out to before we sign off tonight?
Yeah, so just Mihai and Bogdan, my friends, which were watching this whole race, and also your viewers, of course. I've seen that it's starting to grow up a little bit, so we hope that we can provide some good racing in the future for your viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, hope to see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye bye. So that was Barbaru having a pretty decent weekend all over. Good points here and there in both races, picking up the scraps. But yeah, to reflect on what a weekend this was. Action all the way to the checkered flag on every single lap of the sprint race. Just when you thought some drivers may have been able to stay ahead, stuff has happened. Events have happened. Mistakes have been made. And the box just opens up all over again. And it's just incredible to watch and commentate on to see how these drivers push to the line to try and get everything they can out of these cars. There's just something special about it in this league. Anyway, before we sign off, I'd like to say thank you to everyone watching. And all the drivers, of course, and the league owners for setting up such a brilliant league. And we'll see you guys next weekend in 2 weeks' time at Spa. Thank you very much. Vinny Fitzsimmons on behalf of Team Good Squad, signing out till next week. Goodbye.